Hey everyone, welcome to the Ball and Chain. Simon here. It's been a minute, hasn't it? I know I've neglected my duties. I've had a lot on and I've not recorded a video for a while, so we have a lot to catch up on. And boy, has a lot happened. We had an action-packed Prem weekend. We've had the return of Champions League this week and the proper stage of the Champions League now into knockouts and competitions. And then we had the FOMC meeting. We had the basis points cut. We all expected it, kind of priced in. But let's deep dive. Let's go through it. Let's preview as well the games we've got this weekend. We've got a lot to dive through. So grab yourself a drink. Maybe you might need two for the length of this one. And let's get to it. Alright, let's get cracking with the football updates. A little bit back to front. I'm going to go EFL, then I'm going to go Champions League, then I'm going to go Prem, then I'm going to go Championship, then we're going to close out. I'll miss out League 1 and League 2 just simply because we've missed quite a lot. But we'll return back to that, so I apologise for the League 1 and League 2 fans. We're going to focus on EFL, Champ League, Premier and Championship today. And we're going to look back and look forward. So lots and lots to get excited about today. So let's start with this week's EFL Cup that's just gone. We had 4 games this week. Really interesting matches and results. I think the only shock was Grimsby, but is it really a shock with the way Sheffield Wednesday have been playing? They're in dire straits, and it was a really, my dad watched it, I didn't, and my dad, being my usual dad, wasn't particularly impressed, let's just say, with Sheffield Wednesday. But Grimsby, great fight again. They did knock out Manchester United in the last round, so let's not take anything away from Grimsby's performance and them over-retrieving. They now go into the next round. I think it's the quarters next, actually. What an achievement for Grimsby Town, so congratulations to them and a fantastic result away at Sheffield Wednesday. Should be known that there was a lot of Sheffield Wednesday fans boycotted that game again. And there is talk this weekend about them the Coventry game, them marching the pitch. So really, fan power and credit to them. I'm a Sheffield United fan, as you know, but no one likes to see football clubs really suffering the way Sheffield Wednesday are. I could be on here gloating, but I'm not that type of person. I'm a Sheffielder first. And to see both Sheffield clubs rooted to the table is just disastrous for me as a Sheffielder, and we should be in the Premiership. We should both be challenging, just like the Manchester clubs and other big cities as well. It's a real crying shame. Anyway, moving on. Great derby between Palace and Millwall. It took quite late on for Palace to take the lead. Millwall then came back with a last minute, I think it was 94th minute equaliser. And then Crystal Palace go through on penalties. So incredibly unlucky Millwall. Great fight back. But again, no surprise really with the Prem team outplaying. Brentford and Villa again was a 1-1 stalemate. Villa took the lead. Brentford equalised. I think Brentford came close, and they again prevailed on penalties. And Swansea, my understanding was that Nottingham Forest took a lead. And Swansea, with such a late fight back, came back and provide another shock in the round to knock out Nottingham Forest. So, what do we? That's a strange decision, isn't it? Nuno getting sacked by Forest, and Big Ange coming in. Popular character, I know, but really not a great result, mate. So yeah, pretty disappointing for Forest fans, I'm sure. And great result for Swansea and a great fight back. I'm sure their crowd. I experienced like a last minute winner against Blackburn in the FA Cup a couple of seasons ago with Tommy Doyle killed an outside of the box goal in. But Swansea, you fans, that must have been a euphoric moment, and to get the result and the win, that's amazing. So congratulations. So that's the roundup of the EFL Cup. An action-packed week, lots of goals around it. It did take though into the second half for them to really come to life. Most of the games were 0-0 up until half time. So yeah, a fantastic performances there, and some great results in that last round. But that concludes the EFL Cup update for now. We'll move on to the Champions League, and you see what I've done. I've learned. So when I've been doing this before, I've been clicking on things and it's taken ages to just simply because Flash Scores, it's a great site, but the adverts drive me insane. and it just takes me ages to scroll through. So I'll preload things in a hope to be able to deliver the content faster and better without me having to ad-lib while wait the astronomically long loading time. So here we go. We'll pick out some key results. Arsenal got a great result away at Bilbao. 2 late goals, but very good performance. Again, Tottenham, good result against Villarreal, 1-0 win. 2 Kylian Mbappe penalties gave Real Madrid a rather surprising, difficult night against Marseille, but they, deservedly's got them playing well. Big shock that Union beat PSV, but a very good result for them. Another shock in the round was Benfica and Qarabag. 3-2 defeat for Benfica. They were leading. I think that's led to the sacking of their manager, and now the special one has taken over at Benfica. Jose Mourinho has taken the reins at Benfica, was reported yesterday. Juventus and Dortmund, what a game. I think it was near. It was like 0-0 at half time. Ended up being 4-4. It was an insane game. I'd got it monitored on Flash Score, and it was just pinging back and forth. What a game. For a neutral, that's fantastic. I can imagine if you were a Dortmund or a Juventus fan, you must have been going up and down off that sofa. Crazy. Slavia Prague and Glint drew 2-2. That was always going to be both teams to score. Pretty much as nailed on as they come. Olympiacos produced a coupon-busting performance with a really disappointing 0-0 draw with Pathos. I think it was a bit of a derby, Greece against Cyprus. So a little bit of an international derby there. Pathos having a man sent off and managing to get a point is a wonderful, wonderful result for them. Should be very proud. PSG emphatic against Atlanta after, the reigning champions getting off to a fantastic start. Liverpool, I think it was a really interesting game. Simeone getting sent off, getting riled by Liverpool fans. It's been all over social media. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's you can decide whether it's funny or not. That's not for me to say, is it? Liverpool, though, once again, a last-minute winner. I tell you what, if Liverpool are drawing and it's the 80th minute, stick some money on them to win, because it's going to come off. Every game they've had a last-minute winner nearly this season or scored in the dying embers of the game. So, but what a fantastic result. Atletico, a good team, but Liverpool getting off to a flyer. Chelsea getting beaten by Bayern Munich 3-1. Cole Palmer did score. It's probably the only positive to say there. But Bayern's a tough place. They're a good team at home. I think Chelsea will do all right, though. Inter beating Ajax 2-0 Ajax, great result for Inter. Copenhagen and Leverkusen drawing. Monaco losing to Club Brugge. Is that a shock? Well, I think the size of the scoreline is a shock. Again, look at the amount of goals in some of these games. Absolutely insane. Like, if you'd have had over 2.5 in a majority of these games, you'd have won. Like, really interesting. Sporting hammered Kairat Almaty. Like, why are we having teams like that in the Champions League? Just crazy. I think they're going to be the whipping boys. But it's the new format that UEFA have introduced with all their infinite wisdom. So I feel for these guys. I mean, it's going to be a great experience for the fans, great experience for the club. But the old phrase, they get battered everywhere they go, I think is going to be applicable this season to them. Barcelona and Newcastle, what an atmosphere, what a game. Marcus Rashford with an absolute thunderbolt peg for the second, great header for the first, lost his marker. And Newcastle pulling one back late on, but wasn't enough, and Barcelona won. And do you know what? The odds on Barcelona going into that game were pretty. They weren't that good. I mean, sorry, they were amazing if you were putting money on them. So that was really interesting. That was definitely, to win and both teams to score was really good. I think it was something like 4-1, and that's Barcelona. So I thought it was really, really value bet if you were looking at one. Man City beating Napoli. Interesting game. Obviously, Napoli had somebody sent off early on, and I think that dictated the remainder of the game for Man City and for Napoli. And it was just a case of when were Man City going to score and how many. Napoli offered very little in the second half. De Bruyne was taken off pretty early as a result of that sending off, and I think their team just lost balance and kilter as a result of that sending off, and really did hamper Napoli's ability to be competitive in that game. And City got the win. And finally, Frankfurt with rather surprising, I think. I think everyone thought they were at least both teams to score, but for Frankfurt to hammer them 5-1 says a lot about Frankfurt. Are they contenders? Are they the surprise package of this tournament? The result certainly says that. Galatasaray have invested. They've got Osimhen up front, so quite interesting. that result leads. I'm not going to bother looking at the table and the standings because it's only the first week. There's not much can be gleaned from it. Some really good, premium matchups this round, and what a fantastic start to the Champions. Some great results, high octane football, lots of goals. What more can you ask for? Are you not entertained? You should be with this. Really great results. Let's move on now to Premier League, and let's look back first of all before we look forward. So let's look at the results from the last round of fixtures. And again, I'm going to not pick out everything here because there's so many. City beating Man United, continues the woes on Almiron. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? I think he's got a couple of games, and if he continues to play poorly and Man U, he doesn't change. I don't think he's going to change the system. If the results don't come with that system, bye mate, you're gone. Liverpool, lastminute.com Liverpool, I think we're going to call them now. Salah penalty, last minute, was a penalty though, it was a clear handball. I know the Burnley fans might not appreciate me saying that, but I do think Hannibal did lift his hand up. You do that in the penalty area, you give the ref and VAR a decision, it's Liverpool, they're not going to say no, come on. Brentford, coupon busting result, I think. Brentford have been really surprising, haven't they? They just grind results out. A lot of people were concerned for them after Frank left, but got a great point against Chelsea. 2-2 draw. Spurs, great result against West Ham. Again, piles the pressure on Potter. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? Let's see. Bournemouth got a great result against Brighton. Nailed on both teams to score, wasn't it, that one? Palace and Sunderland, not a surprise. Palace getting a clean sheet and a 0-0 draw. Everton, very similar, 0-0. Aston Villa can't buy a goal. Harvey Elliott scored for them in the EFL. Is that going to kickstart his opportunity in his career? Fulham, great result against Leeds. I think they really needed a win. Newcastle, great result against Wolves. Again, they needed a win. Good clean sheet. And an emphatic result for Arsenal, beating Nottingham Forest 3-0. Where does that leave us with the tables? No surprise, Liverpool right up there at the top, followed by Arsenal, Tottenham, Bournemouth. Surprisingly, a lot of people saw Bournemouth losing the defenders and thought they were going to struggle this season, but I did say they had got sense. They've got some very good defenders. They could afford to do that, and they've recruited again very well. Bournemouth, great run club. And a great model for those coming up from the Championship. Them and Brighton, I think, are the mould, and Brentford to some degree are the mould for the clubs coming up. You want to emulate that because they have built sustainable clubs that are continually developing and growing and growing. Look at Bournemouth fourth. I know it's early days. I know it's only 4 games in, but that's a great, fantastic start. And I think if you and I had said after 4 games Bournemouth would be fourth in the league, I think you'd have all laughed. So a great performance from them. Chelsea, 5th. Again, no surprise. We knew Chelsea would be strong this season. City, 8th. I think that's a surprise. I expected City to be higher. But again, we're only 4 games in. Let's not read too much into it. Man U, enough said. Villa can't buy a goal. I'm really surprised at Villa. It was weird, their transfer activity this year. They didn't really bring people in. So not surprising, but is because Emery's a good coach. Surprised about that. West Ham, again, surprised about that. But what does that say about David Moyes and how good a manager he is? Look at West Ham, look at Everton. The results don't lie, do they? The results don't lie. Villa, surprising. Wolves, not a surprise. But again, I've heard 4 straight defeats, but I've heard they're going to offer their manager a new contract. What do we think about that? I don't know. Who are you going to get in at Wolves? I don't know. But they've got a strong squad. There's no real excuses. But anyway, what do we think, fans? Do we think Wolves are going to struggle this season? Burnley and Leeds just teetering on those places. But again, promoted teams, they're not down and out. They've both won a game. That says a lot. Hot there. And look at Sunderland, 7th. They invested heavily. They've got a fantastic manager. Makes me feel better as a Sheffield United fan. They have gone for it. Fair play to them. I was bitter after the playoff final, and some of the fans were giving it after the playoff final, which I don't really like. But fair play, and they've done really well. So congratulations to Sunderland for being where they are at 4th. Let's have a look forward then to this weekend. We've got the Anfield and the Liverpool derby. Liverpool against Everton at 12:30 tomorrow. That'll be a great game. I think it'll be really tight. I'm expecting 1-0 to Liverpool, 95th minute. Quote me on that. Let's see if that comes to fruition. Brighton and Tottenham for me are both teams to score fixture. I think it'll be a tight game. Expecting a draw or maybe Tottenham just to nick it. Burnley and Forest. Again, I think that's a 1-0 game to Forest maybe. Burnley will keep it tight. I've actually decided to bring Dubravka in and leave out Pickford. I actually think I think they will concede Everton. I think, going forward, the literal firepower Liverpool have got has forced my decision. Forest hit and miss with Ange, so it could be a 0-0 draw. That wouldn't surprise me if that plays out. But I do expect Forest's quality with Chris Wood, Morgan Gibbs-White, James McAtee, etc., etc. The players they've got, the quality they've got on the pitch, should show against Burnley. But I expect Burnley to be tough opposition. They are very good at the back. Last season they hardly conceded, had a great record. I know it's a big step up to the Premiership, but I do fancy them to do well. West Ham Palace, I think that's, again, tight game. Palace are really good at the moment, really good at back. I really like Palace. West Ham have got to turn it on though at home. So that'll be a really interesting sort of London derby fixture. Wolves Leeds, again, two teams that need a result. Even now, it's looking like a 6-pointer, isn't it? So again, I think that'll be tight though. Probably 1-0 Leeds, maybe 1-1. I don't know. What do we think? Man U Chelsea premium fixture Saturday night. That's going to be a great game. I think Chelsea will go for it. Man U have to go for it. There's going to be goals galore for me in that one. Over 2.5 on both teams to score, and I suspect Chelsea win. But I said that against Brentford, and look what happened. So never write Chelsea off either way. Fulham Brentford, the late fixture. I must say it's pretty underwhelming, isn't it? I think 1-1, maybe 2-2. Who knows? Brentford have been quite an exciting team though. Maybe Brentford might edge it. I think it's got draw written all over it personally. Bournemouth Newcastle. How will Newcastle react to the defeat at Barcelona? They put a lot into that game. Shaw went off injured. Bournemouth playing very well. I think it's going to be tight. I think Bournemouth will draw for me. Be interesting. Sunderland Villa. Villa can't buy a goal. Only scored once through Harvey Elliott's goal this season. What's going to happen there? And then a fantastic blockbuster game between Arsenal City. Donnarumma is not conceded. He's played twice. Not conceded yet. So is that going to have a bearing against Arsenal? He seems to have added that much needed solidity that they needed at the back. So is that going to have a bearing? Are we looking at a 1-0 City win? Are we looking at a 0-0 draw? Who knows? Put in the comments, what do we think about all these results? There's a load of games happening this weekend. Some quality matches this week and this round. What we're thinking for our dream teams. Haaland captain seems to have been a good shout, but I don't know, a guy against Arsenal. Are we looking at João Pedro against Man United again? Is he going to come up trumps? Or are we going to get surprises? Is Fernandes going to turn up and have a stormer? Are we going to see Tottenham have a good result? Is Chris Wood a good captain against Brentford? Or are we sticking with Salah or any player, literally Isak from Liverpool? Could Isak, make his home debut or make his derby debut and score the winner? What a headline that would be to write. Is that going to happen? Okay, let's move on very quickly to the Championship. Okay, let's look back on last week's fixtures. I don't want to, but we've got to. So Sheffield United lost to Ipswich 5-0. Enough said. Horrendous performance. It was the end finally of Ruben Sayers. And nobody wants to see a manager sack. Nobody wants to see a man sack so quick. But it was terrible. Tactically inept. Clueless at picking the team. Glad he's gone. They brought the Messiah back, Chris Wilder. The board have had to eat humble pie. And rightly so. They made a mistake. But fair play. They've acknowledged it. They brought the man back. I'm expecting a positive result against Charlton on Saturday. We better have a positive result. I'm sure we will. Wilder we trust. Preston and Middlesbrough played out a draw. Oxford Leicester played out a draw. Millwall Charlton played out a draw. Wrexham QPR, both teams scored clearly. It piled the pressure on Phil Parkinson though. They've lost to QPR now. They're playing Norwich at the weekend. I've heard if they lose, Parkinson's gone. That's harsh. 2 back-to-back promotions. Done amazing to get them where they are. Championship is the hardest league to go up from League One to the Championship. It's arguably as hard as going from Championship to Premier League. It's a big step up. You've got to be paid. Got to give your man time. It's not like Sayers. He's actually got some results and points on the cards, and he's made a big step up. Give the man time. Derby beat West Brom. Surprise result. Great result for Derby. Great result again for Blackburn away at Watford. Their mixed start continues. Swansea got a good point against Hull, or Hull got a good point against Swansea, depends which way you look at it. Stoke continued their fabulous form under Mark Robbins with a great result against Birmingham. Sheffield Wednesday, again, continued to struggle. They're at Portsmouth on Saturday, can't see anything but a Portsmouth win, and they lost 3-0 to Bristol City, again, playing well. Coventry Norwich drew out a draw, and a shocking game between Southampton and Portsmouth. I'm sorry, I did watch bits of it. My dad watched it and said, just agreed with me, it was an absolute snooze fest. Really disappointing game for that Port derby. And a shame that it was 0-0. But maybe that suits everybody. Portsmouth at home to Sheffield Wednesday got a chance to get some points on the board. So we'll see how that goes. So what did that do to the table? Middlesbrough continue up there at top. With Stoke challenging, pushing up. Bristol City 3rd, Leicester 4th, West Brom 5th, Coventry 6th. None of those 6, bar Stoke, are a real surprise to me. They were always going to be in the mix this season. Swansea's up there. We expected that as well. They've invested heavily, got a good squad. Preston, surprise package. Heckingbottom has done amazing. He is a very good manager, Paul Heckingbottom. Like, do not underestimate just how good a manager. He did a great job at Sheffield United. Yes, he was very unlucky. Yes, we played crap in the Premiership when we got promoted under him. I don't think that's necessarily Heckingbottom's fault. Urman and Dai and Sander Berger got sold right before the start of the season. He had no time to recruit replacements, and he was pretty much left in a real hole. There were no money for him. He had to do it on a shoestring. I really rate Heckingbottom. Very, very good manager, and great to see him doing so well at Preston. Again, another club that haven't really spent a lot. They lost a lot of good players in the summer, but they've done really well to be in the position they are. Granted, it's only 5 games, but still, you can only see what you can see on screen, and he's done very well. Norwich, surprisingly, are in 10th. I do expect that to change. Same with Birmingham. They've invested, but it's a big step up. They've done well. Portsmouth doing well in 9th. They play Sheffield Wednesday at the weekend. That'll be interesting. QPR, again, we thought they'd be down. They're struggling. They're doing pretty well. Mid-table, not bad. Millwall, mid-table. I expect them to pump on. Ipswich and Southampton, quite surprising the results they've had. But again, Southampton, new manager, quite a cycle of change round. Ipswich, I think, is surprising. But will that 5-0 hammering and thumping of Sheffield United kick them on now? And will we see them start to win games? Blackburn, again, always mixed. They lost a lot of good players through contracts expiring at the end of the season. So interesting to see them coming up and down. Watford, they are struggling, aren't they, with their manager merry-go-round. But they're safe. I think they'll be around that point, though. I don't think they'll go down, but I can't see them getting anywhere higher than that. I think they'll be around that sort of mid-table to relegation in between there over the course of the season. Charlton, again, it's tough. It's a big move for them. They've bought some good players. It's going to be an interesting season for them. I think they need to consolidate and stay up this season and build from that. That would be a really good season for me for Charlton. So we'll see. Derby, again, it's a difficult season. They have brought in some really good players. Obviously, Ryan Brewster, they're coming from Sheffield United, and a few other good signings for Derby. So we'll see how they get on. But I expect them to be sort of mid-table. I can't see them anywhere near the relegation spots. Hull, we all thought they'd struggle. They got off to a good start. Obviously, they signed a great player, Noah McBurney. Gutted we didn't bring him back. I think if Wilder had been at the helm, we'd have got McBurney back, but he wasn't, and we've lost him, and he's gone to Hull, doing really well. But Hull are going to struggle this season. I think they've infrastructure's in a bit of trouble, so we'll see how they get on. Wrexham, surprised, not surprised. They have spent a load of money, but spending money doesn't equal success. They bought some good players. It's going to take time for those players to integrate. It's going to take time for the players to step up to that next level, and the manager. Give him time, though. I think Phil Parkinson's a decent manager. I don't know who else they're going to get better, but it's the Wrexham effect, isn't it? So if Parkinson went, could they get somebody like Dyche, a big name? But that doesn't equal success. Again, is Sean Dyche going to be really that good to have an immediate impact? I don't know. Maybe I'm doing Dyche here a bit of misfortune. We'll see. We'll see how he gets on. Sorry. Oxford got a great manager. They work on a shoestring. It's not a surprise to see them down there. But I don't know. It's such a competitive league, the Championship this season. I really do think it's so wide open from top to bottom. Like, who would have had Sheffield United to be in 24th position? It's an absolute disgrace. But Wilder's back. We will shoot up the table. I'm confident we'll get back to winning ways, or we'll get a really positive performance on Saturday, and we'll see a different team. I'm confident of that. I would be absolutely astounded. I know Wilder. It'd be unfair to expect them to come and blow Charlton away, and I think that's disrespectful to Charlton because they've done well. I think a draw or a win, it sets us on a positive trajectory. I think it'll take time for us to get back to the machine that we were last season, but I expect a Wilder effect to impact. Sheffield Wednesday, No surprise to see them down there. I'm surprised they're not bottom, which just shows how badly Sheffield United have done. So I expect to see them go down this season. I think there's no doubt about that. Unless some miracle takeover happens and they radically transform the team, I think they'll go down. Unfortunately for Sheffield Wednesday, League One beckons for them. Let's have a look at the results. The fixtures for this week, and just preview a few of them before we move on to next week's. Let's have a look at the fixtures for the Championship. So I can start to run through some of these. We've got some big fixtures happening. So tonight's game it is Middlesbrough against West Brom. Top of the table nearly clash. West Brom have been pushing up there. Had a difficult result though against Derby as we previewed just now. And Middlesbrough on good form. I think it's won last 4, drawn 1. So in a really strong and healthy position. The lunchtime game tomorrow is Birmingham-Swansea. That'll be a good game. Very interesting. It'll be an interesting one to call that, isn't it? Answer to Leicester and Coventry, 2 teams who are doing well this season. Expecting goals in that game, surely, aren't we? Got to be both teams to score. Don't like betting on the 12:30 fixtures, got to say. It's always dangerous. Stoke QPR. Again, QPR got a fantastic result away against Wrexham. Stoke are right up there. I think Stoke will do it. We'll see. Blackburn, Ipswich, Preston, Derby. Hull, Southampton. Can Southampton finally turn that corner? It's been a little bit draw, hasn't it? Lots of draws. They need a win. Is their time going to come against Hull? Norwich and Wrexham. Again, Norwich have been, I don't know, a bit underwhelming. What do we think? I don't know. I both teams to score for me on that one. Wrexham are a great bet for that. Portsmouth Wednesday. I can't see anything more. Portsmouth at home are always strong. Wednesday are struggling. Can't see anything more than a Portsmouth win. Talked about it before. The Wilder effect. Can't see Sheffield United losing this one, but I hope I haven't spoke too soon. I'm expecting a Sheffield United win. Bristol-Oxford, expecting Bristol to win. And Millwall-Watford will be an interesting game. I expect Millwall to win, but we'll see. Watford might turn up. They've got a very good squad. There's no excuses, really, for them not to be doing well. But let's see what happens. Okay, that's a real whistle-stop of look back, look forward. I hope you found that interesting. I hope you're excited about the weekend's fixtures. I am. It feels like we've got some really great games coming up this weekend. It's an opportunity for us to get back into, a full fixture list and really enjoy it. Okay, we're going to move on swiftly now to the crypto updates. Okay, oh boy. Where do I start? Alright, let's start with the build-up. So we had a lot of chop at the start of this week and the back end of last week, leading up to FOMC. Prices were pumping, we had big pullbacks, big things happening, things were going really well. It was looking good. We got the FOMC meeting, we got the result. I think everyone expected it. It was no surprise, really. 0.25 basis point cut, positive for markets, but I don't know, I think deep down everyone was hoping for a 0.5 and see everything pop and boom. It didn't. We had a bit of a sell the news, but we have had the pump. It is positive news, right? We've had a 25 basis point cut. So Bitcoin has rallied to 116k. It went posh up to 117, back down again. We've had a bit of a reset. Look at the last 7 days though. Chop, 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 up. So let's see. We're back end of September now. I think it'll, a lot of people are predicting a 30% last drop before we do a blow off top. Let's see, it's going to be interesting. Ethereum losing ground a little bit, certainly against Bitcoin. Back down to 4.5k. We'll see how that rumbles. XRP, apparently we've had some ETFs and we're going to see inflows to XRP and Dodge. Is that going to change their prices? Now, when Ethereum ETF went live, it was stagnant. We didn't really see much of a change. Nothing happened. It took a while to see those inflows. I think if that is the case for XRP and Doge, it's gonna take some time to go in. Now Doge was building a huge amount of momentum and it had rallied quite a lot. We can see the last 7 days a 4.5% increase, which when you think about the turmoil we've been in, it had rallied massively, went down, back up. So we'll see how it goes. It's been a choppy week for Doge. I'm expecting Doge to do well this market. I'm thinking, close to $1, tipping $1 maybe. We'll see. Solana's been doing very well. It's been outperforming Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's been a winner over the last week or so. We'll see what happens with Solana. Going down, going down. Cardano starting to rise. Are we seeing that waking up? A lot of people are saying their last performing cycle aren't going to do so well. Let's see. If it gets to all-time high, it's done well. We'll see. Chainlink, again, another one that we're watching this market. Struggling at the moment. It had really positive momentum, though. 23, still a good price. We'll see how that goes. I think when we go into full bull, we'll see what happens with that. That's one to keep an eye on. Avax has been a top performer over the last week or so. You can see that up 20% in the last 7 days. Really has performed well, and I think it's got room to maneuver. I don't think it's oversold yet. The RSI looks good on it, so let's see. Sui, another one that everyone's hyping up and talking about. Its performance has been it's up 3%. It was hovering around the 350 mark. It's up to 374 now. Looks well. Look at that chart. Bump, bump, bump. Going up, right direction. Bit of a pullback. We'll see what happens in the next couple of days. It's got pullback 3%. We'll see what happens there. I think it's going to be a good play, this market. It's been a strong one. It's not up there with like Hyperliquid, which has been really performing well. We had sideways consolidation, a pump, and now a bit of a dump. We'll see what has that topped out. I think it's still got room to go. Everyone's saying that's going to get up to $100. We'll see. I don't know. HBAR not doing bad. Bit sideways. Not sure about that one. Kronos back down again now, down 10%. 30 cents was a good one. We'll see if it comes back. It'll be interesting. There's still the news hasn't gone away with that. Another notable one is DOT, up 8% in the last week. Is DOT coming to life? We spoke about that before. Dropped down a tad, but not bad. Relatively green, looking very strong. So we'll see how that goes. World Liberty Finance, is it finally its time? Up 17% in the last week, 5% in the last 24 hours. Is now World Liberty Finance finally, as all the initial early investors sold out? Are we getting the real buyers now? Are we seeing that happen? I think Eric Trump is due to talk about it at a conference in October. Keep an eye on that one. It's going to be interesting if we see a pump in that or not. Mantle was up 6%, down again. Arve's sideways chop's gone down a bit. Was a strong play. It's DeFi play. We'll see how that goes. Pepe up 4%, then down 3%. It's a meme coin. Expect chop. Expect massive chop. We'll see. Meme Core, we talked about this before. Up 12% in the last week, down 8% in the last hour. Meme Core was one of those that we talked about being an interesting play, riding the tide. We've been talking about it for over a week, and it's rallied significantly since we first started talking about it. So well done if you've jumped on that train. It is a risky one though. I'll go to Ondo. Ondo's performed really well. Down this week though, it had risen to 105 and it was looking really solid. No, I think it went up to 110 actually. Looked really solid but pulled back. What's going to happen there? Story we've been covering for a while. Up again 7%. It just seems to keep going and going, that one, doesn't it? You think it's going to be overbought, but it seems to just pile through everything. It really has been one of the successes of this bull market this year. Aptos looks to be waking up. Small marginal gains, but it's green. Green is good. WorldCoin again was popping. It really went over that dollar phase. It's really Tom Lee now becoming like one of the crypto influencers this cycle. He was talking about WorldCoin as he'd been talking up Ethereum with the Treasury Fund, and he talked up WorldCoin with Sam Altman. It did pop, it did go up, but now we're seeing it retrace back down 6% this week, 3% in the last 24 hours. But slight look now, is that a change in trajectory? Let's have a look at the other big movers and shakers. MyX Finance was massively up. It's corrected 30% and then 22% in the last 20. So the last 24 hours for that has seen a big drop. Pudgy Penguins was doing well. It's retraced back a little bit, but look at that market. It pumped massively. We've had a little bit of drop off in the last 24 hours, but overall it's doing well. It's showing real strength. Let's see where that goes to. Anything else of real note that I need to let you know over the last 24 hours in the last week? Providence blockchain down 15%. One to watch there. Just be careful with that one. Filecoin just continues to not do very well, even though its credentials are pretty high. Its use case is good. It just doesn't seem to have been of interest in this market. Trump coin 850 down, but looks pretty good actually for a long. That might start to rise now. Be interesting if there's anything. Immutable has been a big winner, up 47% in the last 7 days. So that's a real significant gain, isn't it? Gamify seems to be picking back up. So you're looking at SUI, you're looking at IMX. Could that be the narrative that starts to really pump in the blow off top? Is GameFi the real area that we should be paying attention to? Don't think the narratives really come out. The big winner here has not come out this bull market yet. It's been chopping between different narratives. We had the memes, we had AI, and now is it time for GameFi? Is it time for DeFi to come through? Polyfi's come up with politics as well. What do you think is going to be the final blow off top narrative that really wins out? Which projects do you think will win out and come forward in this next final? Let me know. I'm really keen to hear what you've got to say and what your thoughts are on the big winners and losers. Optimism up 5%. Let's check those crypto bubbles. Look at Asta at 9.5% in the last hour. That's a real rise. World Limited Finance we've talked about. NYX looks like it's pulling back now after being dropped down. So pretty consolidatory, isn't it? 0.3%, 1%. Let's have a look on the daily. How it's looking. Again, we talked about it's in line with what we just talked about. No surprises at all there. I think we're having a bit of a sell the news, aren't we, by the looks of it, bar a few ones that are performing really well. But over the course of the week, as one would expect, going in to this news, it was always going to be choppy. We had a lot of nervousness last week, which is normal for an FOMC, even more so in September, and now we've seen it pump since that since an expected decision. There were no surprises really. Went up 0.25 basis point cut. I think the market had somewhat priced it in, but we're always going to positively react when they got the result that they were looking for, and Crypto Bubbles is showing us that really. All right, fear and greed. We're at 53, neutral. It's largely been neutral for most of this week, actually. We had a bit of greed last week, which was interesting. So we had greed last week, and we've moved in 7 days, and the prices are largely green in 7 days, but we're still neutral. Work that one out. I think we are waiting for this market to pop. I still don't think it's popped. We've not seen retail really pile in yet. When's it going to happen? Is it going to take another rate cut for retail to really want to pile in and get involved and get this party started? When we're going to get people drinking from the punch bowl? When is it going to happen? It's not happened yet. I still think this market, it doesn't feel like it's on fire, and typically markets do, and I would be massively surprised if we just went straight into a bear market in 2026 without seeing some sort of blow off top. It's got to happen. Patience is key. Okay, is it alt season yet? According to this, it absolutely bloody is. We're on 80, which is the highest it's been. So we're now in alt season. Hooray, congratulations, it's finally here. It's underwhelming at the moment, but we're not in red. So let's just be thankful we finally got there, because we've been asking for it. We've now got it. Let's see what happens. I think the next quarter is going to be really, really interesting. Absolutely interesting. Now, look at this. The average day between seasons for altcoins is 70 days. That gives us probably the rest of this month, October, November of alt season. That's interesting. History, they say history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. So if the average day between seasons for altcoin is 70 days, that tells you something. Be patient. If it's 70 days is the average, let's say, and we've only just peaked at alt season this week, and it's, the 19th of September today. Another 11 days of September, then we move into October. So theoretically, this could run all the way to the end of November, very early December. Just bear that in mind when you're getting downbeat on your alts. There's plenty of time in this alt season. Now it's here. It's been confirmed, technically confirmed. We now got to look forward and enjoy it and see what happens, okay? So don't get downbeat. We're in alt season. Just play the time. Play the time out and let's see how it goes. Look, I'm going to show you this. Look at where we are. Look at where we are there. We're all right. We're not. We don't need to worry just yet. We don't need to worry. We've got plenty of time. So I'm here to say it's all good. We got the result. We got a leg on the way to results. They've hinted at more rate cuts, but however, the FOMC and the Fed did say they were mixed. So not everybody unanimously agrees we need to cut rates. We need to keep an eye on the inflation figures. They have got a target, and by dropping these points, if they get back on target, they are not going to drop anymore, and that will be quite a bearish sign. So we've just got to keep an eye on all the data around it. But the money supply is popping. When the money supply pops, that usually means that all assets pop. So we're not, definitely shouldn't be bearish. We need to be bullish. Let's see what October and November brings, but let's bring patience to the thing. Patience is key in this game, so make sure you stay patient. Don't rush out. We're in alt season. Just sit back and enjoy for a little bit now. We've got the result we want. There's not another FOMC meeting until the middle of October. We've got a month to see. I think it's going to consolidate probably for the next week, and then I think we're in for an exciting October. Lots to look forward to. Been great again to have an opportunity to talk to you and feedback. Please consider giving it a like. Please also share and subscribe if you wouldn't mind. That would really help me get my channel out to more people and incentivize me to do this more. Just one last thing. All this, no financial advice on this channel. Education and entertainment purposes only. If you need financial advice, check out a financial advisor. Okay, that's it for this one. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a fantastic weekend. And I'll see you all in the next video. Laters.